Okay, so this is going to be part 2 of my process to freedom. If you did not see part 1, go check that out, because I am talking about how God took me through 3-part deliverance regarding how the majority of my life I have just been dealing with finances. My finances just wasn't right, or I just can't make enough money to handle my, my life responsibilities. It's just been a challenge. Even though God always showed up. My trust was not where it should have been. I just wasn't, I had this hindrance of trusting God, which like I shared in the first video, it broke my heart because he has always proven himself to be a good father. The fear that I have allowed to plague me is regarding my homelessness. This kept going, and it's in the background, the residue of it. So check the first video out for the first part of the process of how the Lord brought me to freedom. So this is part 2. And I'm going to be looking down, because I'm going to be looking at my diary, my journal, how I actually went through these steps that I'm going to share with you, straight from my journal of the second part. So this happened on June 10th. July. This happened on July 10th. I was just home alone and just being quiet, and all these questions just started coming to me, like this really random. I remember I was sitting over at my table over there and just looking straight outside and just looking, It's actually started off with me looking outside with gratitude, and I'm looking. And then this is when the questions started coming. So for my journal, I said, I just now asked myself, if I were to experience a home fire, what would I run inside to get or would not want to lose? So I looked around, I thought, and my response was nothing. And my second thought was, I'll get my Bibles and my study guides. I paused and sat in that answer, to sit in that, just to make sure, are you for real with what you saying? And yeah, nothing changed. What I would lose is convenience. Stuff is convenient. Having a home is convenient. I'm grateful for this question because it showed me my true treasure, and all I really have is God and His Word. Now, let me pause a little bit. Now, when I said having a home is convenient, it's a necessary convenience. However, in my life, how I'm walking through my journey to reclaim my voice, and the things that I have been asking God for, to pull out any roots, any residue that is in me, that is a hindrance to me, that is holding me back, answers to all my why questions. So you may not relate, but for a while now, for months now, I've been asking the Lord, hey, I want to have a renewed mind. I don't want to be so consumed of this culture and the way this world is set up. I want to be separate from that. I want a renewed mind. So that's some context, okay? So, yeah, in this moment, I was just like, having a home is convenient. All the things, TV, and a table for the TV, and having it on the wall, and pictures, and bookshelves, and a nice couch. being leaving out and coming home to a home, like being able to, have your own bedroom, a bed, a bathroom. It's convenient. Okay. So continue with my journal. I'm looking around. If I started throwing stuff out, would I care? Like deep down care. If I threw out the second desk or the table with the TV, my shelves, the sofa, would I be okay? Would I be okay sitting on the floor? Yes, I would be. Right now, if I threw out all the food I have, my only concern is that it would be wasteful. But as far as my well-being, without it, no. As long as I have water, stuff that I have in storage, as long as I have water, would I start throwing things out? Because I started thinking about my storage that I have. In my storage area, I have one side is some historical things that I've bought since I've been moving, and then on the other side is new things from my last place. So I'm thinking, like, if I was to go through the stuff that I've had for several years and just purge it and go through it, what would my response be? Would that be really hard for me? Would it matter if a fire broke out? And my answer today, months after, is no. It would not matter. The things that matter to me, yes, is my life, my daughter's life, things or equipment that would allow me to like start over, my phone, but I stand on what I said. It doesn't matter. So I said, wow, I'm really thinking deep about this. Oh, I do want to keep my computer. And I wrote that because, like I said, that can keep me doing YouTube videos and working from home. Okay, back to the basement. The old stuff, what would I throw out? Would I pay for storage for it? No, I would not pay money to keep things that I've had for several years. Now, the things that I have downstairs are study books, not biblical study books, but books I had when I was in school, memories, like when my kids was younger. I had some things that I had for my grandchildren. Again, would it matter? No. It wouldn't matter to me. And all these things that I'm thinking about, it would matter to a lot of people. Like, I am, what is that when you're like, when you get something, you're like, oh, you really hold on to it. Like, I'm like that. Like, a lot of things that I've had things for 5 to 10 years and even longer. I'm sentimental. I'm very sentimental. But, with that, like, would I have that feeling? Yes. And would I struggle a bit of like, yeah, so-and-so gave this to me. But the bottom line, no. No. And while I was writing this in my journal, I felt a heart shift happening. And I began to feel emotional because I didn't understand why these emotions was coming up in me. I didn't plan to have these questions. Like many times when I write in my journal, I already have something set out. I'm writing it out, my emotions, my thought, how was my day, and prayers and stuff like that. But this was so random. This was not planned. So I kept saying, I wouldn't care to keep one plate. Bring it down to 2 plates. Maybe I could have 1 plate. My daughter would have another plate. Everything in 2s. I seriously don't know what's happening. And I started thinking, am I moving? Am I leaving this place? But I did feel at the time that the Lord was shifting my desires. Now, this is, again, July the 10th. And I just started saying some other stuff about, maybe I'll make a Facebook marketplace. Maybe I'll try to sell this stuff. And that was kind of like, because when I've tried to do that before, ain't nothing happened. So I was like, okay, maybe if I were to do that, I probably really wouldn't do that. I would end up probably just throwing it out because I did not realize on July 10th, the Lord was starting to make things happen in my life. He was allowing me to see really where my treasure is, really what meant more to me than him. I've asked him to change my mind, and I want the mind of Christ, and to remove me from the hold of this world, getting things, paying the bills all the time and being this held down with that, and me owing people money, and this the world system, not the earth. I said the world system. And I just been really just like, I'm tired of I gotta pay this bill on this time and this date, and if I don't, it's this whole thing, and then it's gonna be more money, and just thinking about the stuff that I'm paying for. Do I really need it? Like with Wi-Fi, I have a cell phone. Do I really need to be paying Wi-Fi? My Wi-Fi isn't a lot, but my point is things that if you was to say that to someone, oh, I don't have any Wi-Fi, they're gonna look at you like you're weird. Because that is what we used to. If we have a discussion about AI, well, I use AI sometimes, but some people, they are really getting really involved with it. I've even read conversations where social workers are using AI to do stuff, and I'm like, nah, y'all just went, and we all know that depending how you use this technology, it can be bad or for good. But when we ask God for things, when we pray and we wrestle with God with things, and now the time is coming when he answer it. During this time of this process, I knew that I was being tested. Do you really mean what you're asking me for? What's really in your heart about this? Because are you willing to sacrifice for it? Are you willing to go through the process? Are you willing to let it go? Are you willing to see what I can do? Are you willing to let go of those distractions? Are you willing to do that? Even now, today, I'm making this video because I planned on going working today, and my car did this weird thing. So I just didn't feel comfortable or even safe doing it. So I came home to rest my mind and just think about things. And before I came on here, I'm watching YouTube. Well, I'm watching everybody's stuff. I might as well do video 2. I might as well do part 2. Why not? Before it gets dark, I might as well do it and share this. Hopefully for someone, if you have been on this journey to depend on the Lord 100%, living on manna every day until the Lord says, enough of this, here's your next season, this is what I have for you. But are you willing to be here while you go through the process? Because this has been my process as a whole, like what the journey of it has been for several years. When we coming to this moment now, going through this process, it's been mind-blowing. So I even said the last thing I'll share is, if someone was to randomly give me an RV, because I've been thinking about downsizing. The day that my daughter, when she actually leave out, I thought, well, I'll keep a 2-bedroom about for a year. And I'm like, girl, you cool? You all right? You need to come back home? Because I'm about to downsize. And I was like, if someone was to give me an RV, what would I do with it? Would I take it? Would I live in an RV? If I had my phone, if I had my laptop, would I need all of this other stuff? And I don't have a lot of stuff. I have the basics. Would it mean that much to me? And it wouldn't. Even now, it wouldn't. So when you're praying for things, when you are taking the steps, when you feel led to begin to go through a consecration, sacrificing what it is that you need to become, to do, to let go of, to walk in that prayer, are you willing to do that? Are you willing for the Lord to begin to purge you? Do you really want to let go? So that's part 2 of my process to freedom. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to say, Lord, I hear you telling me to go. I don't know where you're leading me, but I know you said go. Are you really ready to receive what you are praying for? Are you really ready to be free? And I wonder if the Israelites wondered that. I wonder if Moses wondered that. Are they really ready to be free? Creating idols out of the jewelry that the Lord allowed them to have when they won a battle. Are you really ready to hold on to what the Lord gave you, but also ready to let it go in order for you to receive your freedom? So, talk to you later.